Thank you. So up next, we'll request we'll play the disclaimer slide. So disclaimer is basically can you and then I can read it out. Or should I present? Brother? Okay, it's visible. So whatever information that is being provided within this webinar is for general information purpose only. While we try to keep the information up to date and correct, there are no representations or warranties expressed or implied about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the information, products, services, or related graphic content in this webinar for any purpose. Any use of this information is at your own risk. We do not guarantee or declare that the information on webinar is accurate and correct. We are not responsible, nor can they be held liable for any errors or hiatus in the content of the webinar. The view expressed in the presentation made at webinar by the speaker or other webinars are those of the speaker and not necessarily of ISRE. Presentations on or the presence does not constitute an endorsement of the vendor or speaker's views, products, or services. Now, with this, I'll request Nirdhar Chakraborty sir to kindly take it forward from here, and the stage is all yours, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shubham, and thank you, Manish ji, for this generous introduction. So first of all, I hope everybody is safe and healthy in this pandemic situation and this natural calamity which hit us yesterday. So I pray everybody's good health, good safety before I start the presentation. So Manish, Shubham, have you given me the authority for?
Yes.
Yeah, you can share that. You can share.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Is the screen visible? Somebody will say, Shubham.
Yeah, your screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible, sir. Just go to the slideshow mode and let's see.
If, sure.
The slides are moving.
Yeah. Okay. So today's discussion, as already mentioned by Manish, that we'll talk about evolution of refrigerant and trends of new refrigerant options for air conditioning and refrigeration industry. This is a very burning topic nowadays, and there is a lot of research work is going on for this new refrigerant. So I tried to make this presentation very elaborative, starting from the basics of refrigerant, what are the standards, what are the safety guidelines, what are the new options available worldwide and also in India, and what are the challenges. So I'll be very happy if all the attendees get refresh their knowledge and gather some knowledge from this presentation today. So with this note, I am starting my presentation. So basically, as I told you, I will cover these points, basics of refrigerant, classification of refrigerant, designation of refrigerant, desirable properties of refrigerant, environmental effects of refrigerant, different safety standard of refrigerant, and what are the different options of low GWP refrigerant available globally, and refrigerant scenario in India and their challenges. So let's start from very basic. What is refrigerant? So as you know, refrigerant is a cooling media which cools the environment. Okay. So basically it's a fluid. Fluid, as you know, it can be in the liquid stage or vapor stage. So it is used for the heat transfer in the refrigeration system that absorbs heat during the evaporation process from the region of low temperature and pressure and releases the heat during the condensation at a region of higher temperature and pressure. So basically it takes the heat, absorbs the heat from surrounding during the evaporation process. If you recall the refrigeration cycle, so there is evaporation process. From in this process, refrigerant absorbs the heat, and the heat is discharged in the condensation process at higher temperature, either in secondary refrigerant or in air. So this is the basic of refrigerant. So in this process, refrigerant doesn't undergo any chemical change. only change happen is physical change happen. That is the transition of the phase happens from liquid to gas and back again, gas to liquid. So this is what is called refrigerant. Coming to different types of refrigerant which is available. So primarily, if we classify the refrigerant, there are two types of classification. One is primary refrigerant and one is secondary refrigerant. Primary refrigerant is a refrigerant which is basically used for a DX system, direct expansion system, which directly cools the substance or space directly by absorbing the latent heat. So direct cooling and absorption of the heat happens during the evaporation process. So that is called the primary refrigerant. So example, all freon type refrigerant, ammonia, these are all the natural refrigerant, SO2, CO2, these are all primary refrigerant. Coming to secondary refrigerant is a refrigerant which is used, which absorb the heat from the refrigerator space and transfer to the primary refrigerant. So basically heat transfer between the primary refrigerant and secondary refrigerant happens in evaporator. So this is called indirect expansion. You all know in chilled water system, water acts as a secondary refrigerant. But in case of refrigeration system, water in air conditioning system, but in refrigeration system where low temperature is required, we go for brine or antifreeze. Now, classification of the primary refrigerant. So primary refrigerant again can be classified in three major categories. One is halocarbons, that is commonly known as freon. Then there is natural refrigerant, and the other is mixture. I'll just open the laser pointer as well. So halocarbons, these are all synthetic refrigerants, synthetically produced. They are again further classified in four categories: CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. As you know, R11, R12, these are all historic refrigerant. Nowadays, these are not used. Second is HCFC, that is hydrochlorofluorocarbon, which is R22, R123. These two refrigerant are almost in the phase out stage as per the bond fuel protocol. I'll come to the details in the later slides. Next is HFC, which are now used, very much in the industry. R134A, R32, R410A. These are all the refrigerant, but it has got the high GWP, global warming potential. So these refrigerant also has got some time limit for phase out as per the Kigali protocol. That also come in the next slides. And very recently we have, this lot of development is taking place in HFO, hydrofluoroolefin. That is a fourth generation of refrigerant. I will come in details of what are the characteristic of this refrigerant. There are different blends of HFC, HFO refrigerant which are in process of development, and some of the manufacturers have already started using this kind of refrigerant. I will come to the details. And next is natural refrigerant. Natural refrigerant again can be classified in organic and inorganic. Organic refrigerant are natural refrigerants are all hydrocarbon, HCS. Hydrocarbons are propene, butane, isobutane. These are all organic refrigerant. And inorganic refrigerant are which are not hydrocarbons, that are mainly different type of gases. They're like ammonia, CO2, H2O, SO2. These are all inorganic refrigerant. Even air is also inorganic refrigerant. Coming to other type, last type, which is mixture. Mixture is, there are two types of mixture refrigerant. That is blending of two types of single refrigerant. That may be classified in azeotropic refrigerant and zeotropic refrigerant. So R410A, which is commonly used in many systems, this is a geotropic refrigerant. I'll come in details of this kind of refrigerant, what is the characteristic of that. R407C is also geotropic refrigerant. So these are very common usage or application of refrigerant depending on the application. Domestic refrigerator, R12 is already phased out, so we generally use R134A, R600A. Commercial refrigeration, R134A, R404A. These are used for the refrigeration purpose. Residential, we are still continuing with R22. R410A, R32 is a substitute. Light commercial air conditioning, mainly ducted kind of system, package kind of system. We are using R410A, R22 chillers. In Indian scenario, we are using R134A, R410A, R407C, centrifugal chiller, R123, R134A, automotive air conditioning, R134A. These are all in Indian context. Now coming to halocarbon. What is halocarbon? As you know, this is halogen and carbon. Halogen, as you know, all these chlorine, bromine, bromine, iodine, these are all halogens. So we'll generally talk about, in refrigerant, chlorine and fluorine. This contributes most in the making this refrigerant. So halocarbons are all synthetically produced and developed in the Freon family of refrigerant. So they are either methane and ethane series. If you just refresh your chemistry, methane is CH4 and ethane is C2H6. So in these series, all these refrigerant, if you see the chemical formula, these are all in that series. They contain one or four these halogen, chlorine or fluorine. These are non-toxic, non-flammable, non-explosive, non-corrosive, non-irritant to human body and eyes, odorless, colorless. And good part is that they will not react to the food products stored in the refrigerator space. Good for refrigerator and refrigeration process. Will not react to the lubricating oil. It is, many of the refrigerant is quite miscible with compressor oil. Many of them has very excellent thermodynamic property. Only disadvantage for this Freon refrigerants are ozone layer depletion and global warming. I'll come in full details of what is ozone layer depletion, global warming. So these are the example I've already touched upon: CFC, HCFC, and HFC. These are the refrigerant. This is all halocarbon. Coming to natural refrigerant, as I already told you, carbon dioxide, water, ammonia, air, sulfur dioxide, these are all inorganic refrigerant. So these inorganic refrigerant, use of this inorganic refrigerant was much before than halocarbon. These refrigerant are still in use, and use of ammonia and carbon dioxide are growing day by day. Like in Europe, in many supermarkets, they are adopting ammonia CO2 cascade type of air conditioning, refrigeration and air conditioning system. I'll come in details. And other parties, organic refrigerant, that is hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon, the combination of hydrogen and carbon. So these are the example for that. They possess very good thermodynamic property, but they are highly flammable, and some of them are explosive also. So we have to use them in a very restricted way. Now coming to mixture refrigerant. Mixture refrigerant can be classified in, as I told you, azeotropic refrigerant and geotropic refrigerant. Azeotropic refrigerant is a mixture of two or three different refrigerant, which cannot be separated under pressure or temperature, has a very fixed thermodynamic property. So their property is they are very stable mixture of different refrigerant whose vapor and liquid phases retain identical composition throughout the temperature range. So these like R500, R502, R503, these are the refrigerant where this composition of two refrigerant do not differ based on the temperature. So composition remains fixed. They are very stable kind of mixture. On the other hand, geotropic mixture is one whose composition in liquid phase differ to the vapor phase. So the composition in liquid phase is different that in the vapor stage. So these composition like R404A, R410A, these are the refrigerants which are used quite often, but their composition differs. This composition differs as the stage differs. So the composition in the liquid stage differs from the vapor stage. So, and also they do not boil at a very constant temperature. This is a glide, we call it temperature glide, a range of temperature where the boiling takes place. So it's not a very uniform kind of mixture. And these are denoted by 400 series. So these are the example. 404A mainly used for the refrigeration, 407C, 410A, 413A, and these are the composition. Now, how we designate the refrigerant in the Freon series, how the designation takes place. This is very preliminary kind of slide, preliminary thing, just to refresh your knowledge. So basically, these are designated as I told you, these are derivative, freons are derivative of alkane, CN, H2N plus 2. So for methane, if N is 1, this is CH4, and for ethane, this is C2H2. So all these freon series are either methane or ethane series. Okay. So these are designated by R, X, Y, Z. So where X plus 1 stand for number of carbon, this is a lot of thing to do with the chemistry. If you refresh your chemistry knowledge, so X plus 1 is the number of carbon atom, Y minus 1 is a hydrogen atom, Z is a number of fluorine atoms. The balance indicate the number of chlorine atom. Balance means, as you know, C carbon has 4 bonding. So balance means 4 minus less number of H plus F atom. That indicates the balance. Okay, let's talk about R22. In R22, and only 2 digit indicate the value of X is 0. So if it is only two digit, so in that case, X is 0. So in R22 case, so X is 0. So in that case, number of carbon atom is 0 plus 1. That is X plus 1. So this is a derivative of methane. So C is 1. Y is 2 because Y is 2 here. X, Y. So 2 is the number of hydrogen atom is 2 minus 1. That is 1. And similarly, Z is number of fluorine atom. That is 2. Balance 4 minus H plus F atom, that is 1. So that indicates the number of chlorine atom. So basically CHClF2. So chemical formula is difluoro, that is fluorine is 2. So this is difluoro, chlorine is 1. So monochloro or chloro, methane, it's a methane series. So this way, this is the basic of how designation of the refrigerant is done. Similarly, we can do it for R12, R134A. R134A is C2H2F4, tetrafluoroethane, because tetrafluoro means number of fluorine atom is 4. So this is tetrafluoro. And why ethane? Ethane is because C2HX, in that series it is falling. So it is tetrafluoroethane. Similarly, for inorganic refrigerant, these are designated by 7 followed by the molecular weight of the refrigerant. Like ammonia. Ammonia is inorganic refrigerant. So its molecular weight is 17. That it is designated by 717. Similarly, carbon dioxide molecular weight is 44. It is designated by 744. Water, similarly, it is 718. So very basic, but just to refresh your knowledge, I added this slide. So it's a very interesting slide. What is the desirable property of the refrigerant? This is a very common thing. The refrigerant should have very high freezing point. It should not freeze under operating condition, hindering the continuous operation. So it should have high freezing point. It should not freeze at a lower temperature. Low condensing pressure, lower condenser pressure is equal to power required for compression will be lower. As you know, in that case, compression ratio is be lower, and so there will be lower condensing pressure. So, as you know, higher condenser pressure is equivalent to higher operating cost for any air conditioning system or refrigeration system. So, the refrigerant should have low condensing pressure. Similarly, it should have high evaporating pressure. And some of the refrigerant, as you know, it is operating the negative pressure like R123. So positive evaporative pressure is preferred. If it is a negative pressure, then if any leak happens, so instead of refrigerant going out, the outside air, contaminated air gets in and the entire system gets contaminated. So there should be positive evaporating pressure. Moderately high evaporating pressure boosts the compressor suction pressure, thus reduces the power cost. And another thing is that high critical pressure. Our critical pressure, as you know, critical pressure is a pressure above which, even if you pressurize the refrigerant, it cannot be condensed, or it cannot be changed from the vapor to liquid stage. So critical pressure of the refrigerant should be higher than the condenser pressure. So if it is lower than the condenser pressure, like we often encounter this problem with CO2, carbon dioxide, because CO2 has only 31 degrees centigrade critical pressure. So in that case, there is different type of system we adopt, but there should be high critical pressure so that the zone of condensation doesn't decrease. And high vapor density. High vapor density is a low specific volume. So high vapor density require a very small compressor. The size of the compressor and the heat exchanger is reduced by using high vapor density, mass per volume. High dielectric strength. Dielectric strength is a property of this property should be there, so that there should not be any kind of short circuiting, and dielectric strength should be high to avoid any kind of short circuit. High thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity should be very high. As you know, the thermal conductivity into area is equal to total heat transfer for any heat exchanger. This is very basics of the physics. So if the thermal conductivity is high, we require very lesser area of evaporator and condenser. Also, it should be non-flammable, non-explosive, non-toxic, non-corrosive. High miscibility with the lubricating oil, should not react with the oil in system operating range, should not have effect on the environment, ozone depletion, as well as global warming. So both these ODP and GWP should be low, and it should be readily available, and it should be the price competitive. So these are the very ideal situation for any refrigerant, the desirable property of the refrigerant. Coming to what is ozone depletion, this is a very basic slide, but still I thought I should introduce this. So ozone, as you know, ozone is a is a gas which protects our surface, us actually, from the bad effects of the ultraviolet ray coming to the Earth's surface. So UV rays are very dangerous for the health. So this ozone, what ozone does, it absorbs the UV ray which is emitted from the sun. So, but in some of the refrigerant where there are chlorines are there or bromines are there, some of the chemicals, they actually react with ozone and they deplete the ozone layer, they destroy the ozone layer. So mainly chlorine and bromine are responsible for that. So in refrigerant, especially for CFC kind of refrigerant, so this ozone depletion potential is there. So according to Montreal Protocol, the ODP of refrigerant should be 0. So there was a Montreal agreement. In that agreement, it was decided that the ozone depleting all kind of refrigerant has to be banned, or has to be banned in the, some of the refrigerant has to be banned in the near future. So CFC refrigerant is already banned, like R11, R12, all CFC refrigerants are banned, and HCFC refrigerant are going to be banned very soon. In India, it is time limit is 100%, phase out time is 2030. Since ODP depends mainly on the presence of the chlorine or bromine in the molecule, refrigerant having either chlorine or bromine, chlorine in case of your all this freon cannot be used under this regulation. So what happens? CFC are released in the environment by the industries or any leakage from the refrigeration system. Then sunlight breaks the CFC up and releases the chlorine. All the CFC, sunlight breaks that and chlorine is released. This chlorine reacts with the ozone layer O3 and destroys the ozone. Okay, so the reaction takes place like this. This chlorine, Cl, this react with O3, ozone, as you know, O3, and under the presence of UV light, it breaks and it, when there are two compounds are created, one is oxygen and chlorine oxide. Then chlorine oxide and one atom of oxygen, they react, and then chlorine and O2 is formed. So this reaction, again, this whatever chlorine is released, they again react to the O3. So this process continues, and the depletion of the ozone layer happens time by time, and which is not advisable. So all these CFC refrigerant are phased out. Coming to global warming potential, we call it GWP. This is the relative measure of how much heat a greenhouse gas traps in the atmosphere. So as you know, greenhouse gas, there are gas like CO, CO2, NOx, NO2. These gases, what happen, whenever any sun ray comes to the Earth's surface, some of the sun ray, some of the heat get radiated back, and some are re-radiated and they are absorbed by these greenhouse gases, so which creates the global warming. So this global warming, it's a simple index. This is a comparative measure. So global warming potential of CO2, which is a most prominent greenhouse gas, is considered as a 1. So compared to CO2, what is the index of the other gas? What is the potential of the other gas for global warming? This is measured in terms of GWP. So refrigerant should have as low GWP value as possible to minimize the problem of global warming. Refrigerant with 0 ODP but high GWP are also likely to be regulated in future as per the Kigali protocol. Sorry. Now, these are the very common refrigerant: the CFC, HCFC, HFC, and natural refrigerant. So if you see the different comparison between the refrigerant, as you know, CFC is already banned because of ODP value. It is already banned. Now coming to HCFC, R20 to R123, there is still ozone depletion potential, and so as per the regulation, it has to be, as per the Montreal Protocol, it has to be banned. I'll give in the next slide what are the time limit for this ban, so phase out time. Now come to this next generation refrigerant, which we are using now, HFC mostly, HFC and the blend of HFCs. So here, although the ODP is 0, but it has got high GWP, like R410A, it has got as high as 1725 GWP, global warming potential. Okay, and like R32 also, it has got GWP value of 675. R134 is 1430. So as per the Kigali protocol, these refrigerants are also required to be banned. But if you see the other side, this natural refrigerant like CO2, ammonia, propane, methane, butane, these are all with very good thermodynamic property. See, ODP is 0, but as well as GWP value is also very less. This is a very important slide. Let's talk about the safety standard as per the ASHRAE 34. Now, if we talk about the safety of the refrigerant, apart from the environmental effect, environmental effect is ODP, GWP, which I have covered. Now talk about the safety of the refrigerant. Now in safety of the refrigerant, two parameters are taken into consideration. One is toxicity and other is your flammability. Now toxicity is given in terms of OEL, that is occupancy exposure limit, OEL, up to which limit the exposure of this refrigerant is permissible. So if it is lower toxicity, OEL value is higher. 400, like lower toxicity, always it is greater than 400 parts per million. And if it is higher toxicity, this OEL value, the limit value is lower. It is only 400 ppm. It is less than 400 ppm. Now, in the other side, there is flammability. Flammability is higher flammable, refrigerant which are highly flammable, which is low flammable, and there is another category which is mildly flammable. And lastly, there is no flame. Okay, so which is a very ideal situation. So best will be A1 kind of refrigerant, which has got lower toxicity and no flame propagation. So it is not a flammable refrigerant, which is A1. Similarly, the worst refrigerant will be B3, which will have higher toxicity as well as higher flammability. So these opposite, if you see, diagonally opposite categories are the one is best, one is the worst. So these are the intermediate ones, like A2, B2, which I have got lower flammability. This lower flammability also measured in terms of lower flammability limit. We call it LFL. So this is what is LFL? LFL is a lower end of the concentration range over which a flammable mixture of gas and vapor in air can be ignited in a given temperature of pressure. So this is a lower limit of flammability. So which is for lower flammability, it is 0.1 kg per meter cube, and whereas heat of content is greater than 19 millijoule per kg. Anybody, can you mute please? Somebody has unmuted.
Yeah, sir, I'll just mute all, and you need to just unmute and speak again. I'll just mute all. Now, sir, kindly unmute and you can speak now.
Yeah, it is audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Yeah, thank you. So intermediate refrigerant A2, B2, there are lower flammable but lower toxicity, and B2 is higher toxicity, low flammable. There is another refrigerant class is there, is A2L and B2L. This is mildly flammable. Okay, mildly flammable is the category which some of the very prominent refrigerant like R32 falls in. So these are all mildly flammable. Under some condition, some burning velocity, the flammability happens. So these are all A2 and B2L. So these are all lower flammable or mildly flammable refrigerant class. Now see this refrigerant safety group. Now all these hydrocarbons are lower toxicity but highly flammability. So these are all mainly comes under A3 category. Lower flammability, another refrigerant comes, that is R152A, that is difluoroethane, C2H4F2. This refrigerant is mainly used for the automobile air conditioning. So this is lower toxicity but lower flammability is there. And this category, A2L category, as you see, there are R32, which is very much used nowadays, room air, especially in the room air conditioner. These categories mildly flammable, and these are all refrigerant. I'll come in the next slide. These are all blend of HFC and HFO refrigerant. So these are also, and this R1234YF, this is HFO refrigerant. Okay, this is tetrafluoropropane, mainly used for also for the mobile air conditioning, automobile air conditioning. And another is R1224ZE. Ammonia comes under R717. Ammonia comes under higher toxicity and lower flammability. Ammonia has a good thermodynamic property, but this problem is with this higher toxicity. That's why safety standard is B2L, and it becomes poisonous at very high concentration. When the concentration of ammonia is high, it becomes poisonous. So that is one of the disadvantage of ammonia. Otherwise, it has got very excellent refrigerant property, thermodynamic property. Now come to what are the single option which are available globally for this HVAC and our industry. So if I consider fluorofluorocarbon, this Freon, high pressure refrigerant, that is HCFC 22, R22, replacement is either R32, HFC 161, these are the replacement. And medium pressure refrigerant, which is R134A, the replacement is HFO refrigerant, HFO 1234YF, HFO 1234ZE. So these are all, these refrigerants are all tetrafluoropropane category refrigerant, but they have different trade name as per as the manufacturer is concerned, HFO refrigerant. Hydrofluoroolefin. So I'll tell something about what is HFO. What is hydrofluoroolefin? So we have talked about HFC, HCFC, where if you see the bonding of the carbon, there are 4 bonds of carbon, and in case of all the Freon category, CFC, HCFC, and HFC, this bonding takes place one by one. I mean, this all C has 4 bonds. There are single bonding takes place. But in case of HFO, there are this is the unsaturated refrigerant. They have at least 1 double bond between the carbon atoms. So C, they are connected by 2 bonds. So left out bonds are only 2. Okay. So these are all unsaturated refrigerant, but have got very good thermodynamic property, especially low GWP. So these refrigerant are the future refrigerant, you can say, this HFO refrigerant, and the blends of HFO and HFC. And in case of low pressure refrigerant, replacement can be HFO again 1233ZD, HFO 1336MZ. So this is hexafluoro-2-butane, this 1333MZ. What are the challenge for low GWP refrigerant in HVAC and our industry? So mainly this HFC and HFO refrigerant, these are all now in developing stage, and some of the manufacturer has already started, especially in the chiller HFO refrigerant, but mainly it is still under development stage. So, but if you see the single component low GWP refrigerant is very less in case of high pressure application. But in that case, either those refrigerant are A3 or A2N category, which is highly flammable or mildly flammable. So safety is a concern. And also there is another, worldwide there is lack of clarity on the safety standard and use of flammable refrigerant in accordance to building standard code and fire safety standard. There is still, it is not very clear what refrigerant to be used in complying to the fire safety standard. It is not spelled out as per the National Building Code and other laws. Now coming to these refrigerants, which are, as I told you, in the development stage, HFO or HFC blend of refrigerant. If I consider R22, there is the refrigerant which is in the testing stage, this R44B and R410A. There are a couple of refrigerant is R4467, R452B. As you see, these are all blends of HFO and HFC refrigerant. Here you see these are all blending of 1 or 2 HFC or HFO refrigerant, and like R404A, this is which is for refrigeration purpose. This 449A, there is 448A, R134 equivalent refrigerant which is developed R450A, R513A is also suitable equivalent for R134A. And for R123, this R514A is being developed. Coming to different application worldwide, which can be a good option based on the application. So for the domestic refrigerator and standalone unit, isobutane is R600A are being used, but the safety is A3, R290. These are also being used. This is propane, R290. HFO 134YF, these are also being used in some of the European and US countries, and blend of HFO, HFC 513A, these are also being used. Display cabinet for refrigeration purpose, CO2, this combination, ammonia and CO2. So these are the refrigerant are being used. In case of supermarket, especially in European countries, there are ammonia, and there is a lot of use of ammonia, and ammonia CO2 cascading system are going in the use. And other, again somebody has unmuted, I believe. Shubham, if you can again mute, and again some disturbance is coming.
Okay, yes, sir. I'll request all the participants to kindly mute themselves. You can ask your questions in the chat box. Meter sir, you can continue. Please check.
Yeah. And cool storage, cool storage, ammonia is option, and also R448A, as you see. R448A is the option. Now, what is ammonia? now coming to this cascade kind of system, or ammonia CO2 secondary kind of system. So basically, CO2 has some problem in terms of thermodynamic property, because as I told you, first of all, the CO2 has a very high operating pressure, and this critical pressure, critical temperature of CO2 is very low, that is only 31 degrees centigrade. So whenever CO2 is used, either it is in a cascading format or transcritical kind of system we develop. So mainly this is ammonia CO2 cascade kind of system, which is being used in one of the supermarket in Europe. So there are two stages of refrigeration. You can I'll just put the pointer on. So there are low temperature compressor. This is medium temperature compressor, and there is ammonia refrigerant. So, so this type of system, cascade kind of system, is adopted in case of CO2 ammonia system. And also CO2 can be used as a secondary refrigerant, where the main chiller is ammonia chiller, and CO2 used as a secondary kind of fluid. So coming to other applications like room AC, R32, R292, 290, R44B, R42B, these are the option available. But if you see, as per the safety standard, it doesn't comply the most most suitable safety standard, I would say. Though we are in India also, we are using this R32, R290 refrigerant for room aircon, because some of the manufacturers are using R290 also, like Godrej and all, but R32 is mostly used. Ductable or package kind of system, R32 is option. And again, this blend of HFO, HFC refrigerant are option. Scroll chiller, R32 and R452B are the option. Coming to screw chiller, this HFO 12234YF, as I told you earlier, this is tetrafluoropropyl. This is already launched by some of the manufacturer. It is being used in some developed country market. At the same time, 1234 ready. These are also being used. And R513A refrigerant based screw chiller also is launched by some of the manufacturer. For medium pressure also, these are the options, same, more or less same. For centrifugal chiller, for the low pressure centrifugal chiller, this HFO1233ZD, 133NZ, 514, these are the options. But VRF system, still we are we don't have any other option than R410A, which has very high GWP. As to summarize, so R32 widely acceptable technical option for room aircon. 290 is being used in some of the manufacturers. This blend of HFC, HFO still not commercially being used for room aircon. For commercial air conditioning, medium cooling capacity commercial air conditioner like ductable package H332 is a choice. Screw chiller, as I told you, HFO refrigerant is already launched by some of the manufacturer, as well as R513. Centrifugal low pressure, as I told you, these are the HFO refrigerant already launched by some of the manufacturers. Commercial refrigeration like chest cooler, freezer, display, R600A, this isobutane being used. Fishing vessel, these are the refrigerant. Supermarket, as I told you, ammonia CO2, cold storage ammonia, and mobile air conditioning, HFO 123.4Y and 513A. So this is global scenario which I have talked about. Now come to the phase down schedule of the refrigerant as per the Montreal Protocol and later Kigali amendment, I would say. So what happens in actually this Montreal Protocol? It was signed in the year 1989, but 1987. But it was effective from 1st of January 1989. It was ratified by 197 nations, where there was a treaty to phase out this CFC and HCFC refrigerant. So in our case, so there are two categories were there. Article 5.1 parties, one is Article 5.1 parties. These are the developing countries, and non-Article 5.1 parties, which are developed countries. So for developed countries, this 100% reduction had to happen by January 1, 2020. Apart from very small amount of refrigerant for mainly for the servicing purpose, based on the base level they have taken consumption of 1989, but some percentage of this consumption 1989. And for these developing countries, this average of 2009-10 was considered as a base level. And for developing countries, the 100% reduction is to take place by 1st January 2030, apart from some small allowance was given for maintenance purpose. In our case, the first phase in India, first phase of phase down has already happened. We are in the second phase of the phasing out refrigerant. First phase, one of the 144A refrigerant, 144A refrigerant has already been phased out, and many the consumption of R22 has been brought down drastically. So we have to complete the entire phase out by 2030. Similarly, for the as per the Kigali agreement, the phase out of HFC refrigerant was also when it was decided in the treaty. And as per that, so India, we have to phase out the 15% of the base level refrigerant by 2047. India comes under A52 countries. There are 4 categories of countries: A52, A51, A52, then non-A51, non-A52. Non-A51 is all developed countries, and non-A52 is countries like this previous USSR and Belarus. And A52 is mainly this India and other Middle East countries mainly, and except A5-2, other developing countries fall under A5-1. So if you see the final date, phase out date for this HFC refrigerant is 15% for developed countries in 2036. That is, they have to brought down the consumption 15% of the base value. There is base value is already defined. So they have to brought down the value by 2036. In our case, this is 2047. So there are, but this has to be done in the 4 steps. So by 2032, we have to achieve 90% of the base value. So we have to reduce by 10%, and by 2047 we have to come to 15% level of the base value. So we have to reduce by 85%. So in nutshell, if I consider prior to MPB's Montreal Protocol, so historically, these are the historical trend of refrigerant. Domestic refrigerator, we used to use R12. Mobile air conditioning. Mobile air conditioning means the air conditioner which are used in the movable vehicles. Street ACs, we used R22. Display cabinet R22, R502. Post storage, this R22R ammonia. Medium pressure chiller, R12, 11 for low pressure chiller. So prior to Montreal Protocol, these refrigerant were used worldwide. After Montreal Protocol, there is a complete shift of paradigm to mainly for the hydrocarbons and HFC based refrigerant. But post Kigali Agreement, there will be hydrocarbons as well as HFO and blend of HFO plus HFC. And ammonia and CO2, these are the refrigerant will also be there as a natural refrigerant. Now, what is the Indian scenario? So till now, I have talked about the global scenario of the refrigerant. So if I divide the HVAC&R industry sector-wise, so there are room air con, there are chiller, refrigeration, VRF, ducted, telecom, and MAC means mobile air conditioning, railway. I mean, there is use for the aeroplane also, but there is a very limited use for that. Mainly in plane, air is used as refrigerant. So there is no chemical refrigerant is used as such. So air being used. These are the categories we feed in HVAC&R industry. So different stages for development of alternate refrigerant in India. This is taken from RAMA. RAMA, as you know, Refrigeration Air Conditioning Manufacturer Association. They phased out this step by step. They actually collaborate. They have a very strong collaboration with the government also. They work in tandem with the government, and they frame different types of rules and regulation in the air conditioning industry. So first of all, this institute and industry program required to be carried out for innovation, basic research, applied engineering. So this is the research and development part for making the refrigerant. Then they have to do, we have to do the market research and the governance for proper certification, regulation. Then comes the affordability and availability of the technology for the successful implementation. So this is the process one should follow for this development for the alternate refrigerant. So what are the low GWP refrigerants now available in India, in Indian context? Till now we have talked about a lot about the global context, global refrigeration, global alternate refrigerant. Now, what about India? India, for RAC, room air con, we are still using R22, and HFC refrigerant are also being used. Some of the cases are R410A, 407C, and low GWP option is R290 and R32. For ducted kind of system, R22, R4107C, but low GWP option is not being used so far for ducted or package kind of system. VRF R22 is not an option. So we are using 410A now. Chillers R134A being used, and the low GWP option is HFO and or blend of HFO HFC, but the cost is a limitation. Cost is a worrying part for this. For refrigeration, R22 R404A, and low GWP option is your ammonia, but ammonia again it has got higher toxicity. Water cooler, we are still using R22 R134A. Low GWP option is R290. So if I consider what are the challenges for Indian industry, for HVAC industry, for this development of new refrigeration, till now there is no alternate refrigerant developed for VRF and ducted system. Cost and technology availability is a concern. Room AC is the largest sector, and industry is already overburdened to meet the different stringent norm of energy efficiency, BE category, and changeover of refrigerant. Impact of all new refrigerant on efficiency. Efficiency part, what will be the impact, is yet to be analyzed in details. Definitely is a challenge. There are different type of refrigerant, alternative refrigerant option is available in testing apart from R22, but the manufacturer will have to cope up with the designing of the new product as well to fit this new kind of refrigerant and simultaneously maintain in the field. And as you know, country may not have the fully trained manpower for this. We have to develop manpower for that. For introducing and adopting alternate refrigerant in any sub-segment of HVAC industry so we have to do proper market research, need to be carried out with a feasibility study, including, first of all, affordability. The price, affordability is one of the main factor. Then, of course, energy efficiency, environmental effects, and safety standard. So this thing has to be taken into consideration when we introduce a new refrigerant in Indian market. Thank you. So this is as far as my presentation is concerned. Then Shubham, we can go for Q&A.
Yes. So I think only one question has come. I request everyone to put up your questions if you have any of them. So Mr. Biplav has asked, what is the boiling point of HFO R1234Y? So this must be pertaining to some certain slide. So Mr. Das, if you can clarify your question, you can unmute yourself and ask also.
Hello.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Just want to know what is the boiling temperature of the new HFO refrigerant, and how much does this cost? What is the rate?
What is the rate?
How much does the refrigerant cost?
The boiling point of R1234YF refrigerant is about minus 30 degrees centigrade, minus 30 के आसपास है, minus 30 degrees centigrade.
Okay,
see,
sir.
cost is yet to be. I mean, the cost is still not introduced in India. Let me clarify this. This refrigerant is still not introduced in India, although in European and in international some developed countries, this R134Y refrigerant being used mostly for the mobile air conditioning, that is for the mobile vehicle or the train. This mainly used for the mobile air conditioning. Okay, so
okay,
so cost cannot be ascertained Indian, because in India this refrigerant is still not introduced.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for the clarified answer, sir. And I also would like to say that it was really informative. I also learned a lot personally from this
Thank you. Thank you.
technical session. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Hello, sir.
and I think no more questions. Okay. Who is this? I think someone tried to speak.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Hello. Yeah, my name is Chinmay. I'm from Shillong exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, please.
I have one question. That
Yeah, please.
as far as the COP is concerned, so which
Yeah.
group of refrigerant will
Yeah.
give the best COP as far as your knowledge?
See, if you consider the COP, there are different options are available. R134A is a refrigerant with good COP level. Then we have got R161, that is ethyl chloride. This is also have good COP. So these two refrigerant, and even R22 is also have a good COP, but R22 is getting banned. So R134A is a good option in terms of energy efficiency.
If we say that, sir, the low pressure system in low pressure refrigerants.
Pardon?
In case of the low pressure refrigerants, we know that the low pressure system will be the best COP.
No, it is not like that. Low pressure refrigerant will give the best COP. R134 is a medium pressure refrigerant. It gives a good COP. Then for the low pressure, we have, as I already showed you, low pressure refrigerant like R123. A lot of replacements are coming. The blend of HFC or an HFO, which are still under development stage, although in developed countries, these refrigerants are already being considered in some of the by some of the manufacturer. So for the low pressure, R123 is option.
Thank you. It's the best session, sir. Nice presentation, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. One more thing, sir. May I get the session PDF in my mail?
Sure. We will do that.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So a lot of people have asked about the PDF for the session. So kindly share it with us. Then
Sure.
I'd also request the participants to fill out the feedback form. We'll share the link with you via mail also. So in the feedback form, you may write about the PDF. So whoever is asking for it, we'll share it with them. I hope I clarify myself.
Sir, if you can if you can send the mail ID so that we can send our comment to you.
So I think your mail ID is being asked, sir. Sir.
Yeah, you want to display my mail ID?
Yeah.
Okay. Just.
Sir, you may write it in the chat box also.
Yeah. I'll write in the chat box.
Yes, that will be best.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just interrupting. Excellent presentation. An excellent presentation by Nirjar ji, as usual. We are glad to have you once again with us, and look forward to a few more sessions on relevant subjects. I wanted to interject here. We have two very senior most members of our Calcutta chapter, Manoj Chakrabarti sir and Utpal sir, our national treasurer. So I would like to invite Utpal sir to share his thoughts, and post that I would request Manoj sir if he could also share his thoughts about today's evening. Utpal sir, are you there?
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Good evening. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah,
very much audible. Utpal sir, please.
Yeah,
please.
congratulations to Vishwa Kolkata, our chapter. And I would say this, Nirjar spoke very nicely on this refrigerant selection and all. And always Nirjar comes with a good presentation. Thank you, Nirjar. And
thank you very much. Thank you.
A lot of, at one time I could see that 90 participants were also there. It's quite good. That means the the topic was accepted by by everybody. And thank you again, Kolkata and Manish and other team members for this nice presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Utpalda. It's always great to have you with us for sharing your thoughts. Manoj sir, if you are also available, we'd like to hear something from you as well for today's evening. Because connection maybe is as an issue. So we'll carry on with our program. Shubham, you can take it forward, please. Shubham?
Yes. Yes.
Could you take it forward, please?
I think, sure, yes. So I now like to request Nilanjana ma'am to kindly give the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Nirjata, excellent presentation. I have always been part of your lectures and always learned something. And today was no exception. Very thoroughly covered. All the key points very well explained. I'm sure many participants, as we see in the chat box, really enjoy it. And this is a very relevant topic, as Manish sir pointed out in the beginning. And we all need to learn and update ourselves regularly with such kind of things. Otherwise, the subject and the work keeps on getting boring. I thank my team at Kolkata chapter and all the team that is managing behind the show. Thank you for your excellent work. I again thank all our sponsors. Some of the team members from our sponsors are also present over here. Without you, we cannot put up such great shows. Thank you for trusting in us. Thank you to Manish sir. Thank you to all the CWC team, our senior members who have been present here from the Kolkata chapter. And last but not the least, all the 98 participants who joined today, who could take time out. Thank you so much for supporting us and being with us. Please keep joining our programs. We will be bringing more and more new topics and subjects every day and update you with the latest trends and technologies of the industry. Thank you, everyone. With everyone's permission, we would like to close the session now.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, Manish sir, can we close the session now?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Shidadutta, you may end the meeting.
Okay.